Hello everyone. So there's some footage in the back of me cleaning a roof from the other day. I'll talk about the topic of today's video, which is what do I do in the winter as a cleaning business, or what should I do? What happens? Does it stop? Can I carry on? So I get this question, these sorts of questions a lot in personal messages and through a lot of comments lately. So I thought I'd make a dedicated video for it. There's a lot of cons to working in the winter, to be honest. It's not a fun time a lot of the time, but there is some pros as well, which I'll talk about too. So for anyone trying to tackle their first winter as a cleaning business, don't worry too much. You will be okay. I promise you'll make it through to the nice warm weather again. So first off, before anyone asks, the tools I'm using in this video is the Skyscraper brush from Spinner-Clean, the roof scraper from Gutter Vacuum Systems, a Renegade 30-foot pole for the scraping, a 40 feet over 8 pole from Streamline for soft washing, My Tower scaffolding to reach the roof, a Skyvac Industrial 85 to clear the guttering, and the Dosatron from GK Pro to apply the chemicals correctly, and GK Pro Biocide as the chemical. So now that's all the way, let's get started. So first off, what changes from the summer to the winter in this line of work? I'm going to start with the cons and all the negatives. Obviously it gets very, very cold, which isn't fun to work in. The days get shorter, and as it's usually dark, sort of around 4 p.m. For a couple of weeks anyway, and then it does start to get lighter when the clocks go back. But yeah, most of the time it's definitely before 5 it's already dark. You tend to get less inquiries, well, depending on the size of your business and how long you've been going. If you're new, you probably will get a lot less inquiries on the run up to Christmas, as people are trying to save money, and a lot of people do view cleaning as like a spring and summer type of thing. And finally, motivation can also take a big hit. I know it does for me when it's cold and dark outside. I'm pretty sure I've got that SADS, whatever it is, that seasonal affective disorder, because when it's cold and dark, sometimes I just really do not want to get out there. So these cons affect the job in a variety of different ways. I'll start with roof cleaning and pressure washing, as that's sort of the most popular thing on this channel and what most of you watch. Certain chemicals that I use every day often won't work correctly in certain temperatures. Biocide, for example, which is the main chemical used on roofs and occasionally we use on driveways, is roughly 6 to 8 degrees, I think, before it loses its desired effect. I think it's 6 degrees, and I think that's in the 40 degrees in Fahrenheit for the Americans out there. So for roof cleaning during the winter, I'll tend to aim to start applying those chemicals at the warmest point of the day. So it could be 3 degrees in the morning, but by 12 or 1 o'clock, we could be hitting 8 degrees for a few hours. So start scraping, hopefully be done, or get some of it done, say one side of the roof done by midday. If we've got, say, 3-4 hours of nice 8, 9, 10 degree weather, that'll be a good time to get the biocide on. And then you might have to come back the next day, do the other side, sort of rinse and repeat. But obviously during January and some of February, we might not see 8 degrees all month. So unfortunately for me, roof cleaning usually stops in January. And I'll aim to start up again towards the end of February, or whenever the weather sort of lets me, really, because sometimes halfway through February it's fine, we're having sort of 8 degree days every day. Secondly, the moss can also freeze. There's been a few times when I've rocked up to a job, got all set up ready to go, and literally nearly yanked a tile off or pulled my shoulder out because the moss was completely frozen solid. It's a pain, but it's just the way it is sometimes. So I'll try and start on the sunny side of a roof, which usually is thawed out by sort of 9-10 o'clock when I'm set up anyway. And then by the time the few hours have gone by that I've scraped that, the colder side of the roof is usually thawed out. But if it's not, then you just have to call it quits and come back on another day. So with the days getting shorter, it also means that work time is limited. So jobs that I could normally do in a day in the summer may take 2 in the winter. So that can affect the wallet in a big way sometimes. A lot of people tend to forget that. Because if you need to finish a job, you can work till 7-8 o'clock in the summer if you want to, but you got no chance in the winter. I find that pressure washing is pretty scarce during these months as well. You'll still get some jobs come through, but you'll need to be a lot more proactive to find them than you normally would during summer months. So it takes a lot more advertising, door knocking. Also, this is a good one, if we've had a few cold nights, make sure the pressure washer isn't frozen solid. You kind of really need to make sure it's warm, because I've heard a few heartbreak stories of it being completely frozen inside. Obviously there's still water in the pump after it's turned off. They've tried to start it and it's just went bang. So keep it in a garage or a shed, keep it well wrapped up and insulated over the winter. I know a lot of people do just pack up pressure washing full stop in the winter, but if you need to make money, you need to make money. So yeah, just make sure it's not frozen. Same thing for chemicals also. Don't leave chemicals outside. Keep them wrapped up also, because you don't want to be trying to pour out frozen chemicals in the morning. Now, if your primary business is you've just started a window cleaning business and some of these other jobs you sort of branch out every now and again, don't worry, window cleaning, nothing should change. It's a maintenance job, so you'll get a few customers that might drop off and they'll think, oh, I only want it done in the summer. But it is what it is. I don't think it will affect your business at all. It never has for me anyway. You'll probably find, honestly, that you're struggling to get round to everyone and people are calling you constantly saying, when you come in, because obviously it gets dark quicker, it's colder. We have wet, rainy days that you don't work in, or some of you won't work in. So yeah, if anything, you'll probably be busier. My tip for window cleaning is just carry some rock salt in the van just in case. Because if you're cleaning a window and you get water all over the path of an elderly person's house, she might not know, she might walk outside, slip and have a fall. Yes, we wouldn't want that. So if you spill any water anywhere, just pop some rock salt on it, just in case you're working on a very cold day where the water's going to be freezing. Speaking of that, if it's minus temperatures, be prepared for the water to freeze on the glass. So you might want to start a little bit later in the day, or if you do have no other choice but to start early, say it's a contracted job or a commercial job or something, just use hot water and just get that water off that glass really, really quickly. That's if you're traditional, by the way. I'm not sure about water pole. Maybe you could use a de-icer in the water. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. Finally, gutter clearing businesses, congratulations, it's the best time of year for you. Winter and gutter clearing goes hand in hand in my opinion. The constant rain and bad weather means more overflows and leaks. The leaves have all fallen off the trees and started to rot and sort of clog up all the gutter in. So the call outs for me are usually flying in. It's the perfect time to advertise for it too. To be fair, I think it's my biggest earner usually in January and February, mainly because I pack a lot of the other stuff away. But you do just get a lot of calls for it. The only thing you'll have to worry about is if the guttering is actually frozen itself. But if you are cleaning gutters from a ladder, it can sometimes be easier because you can just kind of like jam a screwdriver in one end and you can lift up like 3/4 of the guttering from there. Well, not 3/4, but you get the point. You can lift a lot of it up and pry it out, and then it's really easy to clear out then. So if you're using a gutter vac though, then again, it's one of them. Just start a bit later, wait for things to thaw out. But we don't get too many big freezes, so that shouldn't happen very often. But if it does, just go home, have a cup of tea, and then come back in a few hours. So that's the specifics for the main jobs I do anyway. I do some other stuff, but nothing major. So to round that up quickly, roof cleaning, just watch the temperature and be prepared to come to a halt for January and some of February in the worst case scenario. Pressure washing, you can keep going all year, but it just gets a bit harder to get the work in when it's winter. But like with anything, if you do persist, you will find the work. So a lot of door knocking, advertising, just do the best you can because there'll always be someone that needs it, always. It can also be a good time to complete contract work or work for places that tend to close for holidays. So things like schools, like you see me cleaning schools all the time. Winter time, brilliant time for it. There's no one around, no kids. Perfect time for them to get things done, ready for the reopening in January. What else was there? Window cleaning, again, just carry on as normal, and gutter clearing is booming. So what a lot of people will say is like, blah, blah, you should have saved up all year to afford to take some time off, like I have. Yeah, it's rubbish. Yes, that is the best idea, but life doesn't work like that, does it? And a lot of people need to get out of the house and work, or if you're like me, if you don't go to work, you'll start getting loopy. So I do struggle sometimes in the winter. To be honest, it's mainly over Christmas where I have time off anyway. Sort of sitting around doing nothing for 2 weeks, it kind of starts to do my head in. So one of the biggest saving graces to the wet and cold weather in the UK is everything starts going green and slippy. So you can use that to your advantage and you can find jobs that way. Door knocking, you can go up and someone could have a really green and slippy driveway or path, and they might have been thinking to themselves, bloody hell, this is getting a bit slippy, isn't it? Just so happens that you knock on the door and say, hey, do you want that cleaned? I'm doing a reduced rate over winter. You could go a bit cheaper over winter if you wanted to, just to make sure you secure some work. Everything just starts to look mouldy, so use it to your advantage. Advertise that way. Advertise in the sense of get everything ready for the new year, blah, 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 blah. Start 2022 off with a fresh start and a clean house. There's a million things you can do, just be proactive. So, to round that up, quick, nice video for you. My main tip to get through winter is just diversify. So if you're starting out doing only one type of cleaning job, it can be hard financially to get through it. But if you start branching out and learning new things, doing more types of different cleaning work, you'll probably find nothing changes, or you might even get busier over the winter. If I was only doing pressure washing, for example, I was just a pressure washing business, I might say I get 10 jobs a month normally. So say I do, I don't know, between 2 and 3 pressure washing jobs a week, which even that, that's a good earner, but that's in the spring and summer. So you're all happy-go-lucky there. You've got, you're earning good money. But then now comes the winter time. Those 10 jobs could drop down to just five jobs. So that's a 50% loss. Or you could even only be doing like 3 jobs. The inquiries could just almost dead stop. That's a huge chunk of money to lose. Even though it'll only be a few months, pretty much January, February, probably December as well. Actually, say 3 months that you're going to be struggling to get the work in. That's a lot of money lost. But if I started offering gutter clearing, I might get 10 gutter jobs on top of those 5 pressure washing jobs, meaning it might balance out. I might break even there, or I might even make more money. Then come springtime next year, you've got 2 different types of jobs under your belt. So 2 different things that you can do. You can go and do a pressure washing job and say, oh, do you want me to check your gutter in while I'm here? Or you could go and do a gutter job and say, oh, that's a nice dirty patio. Do you want that cleaned? You know what I mean? You can sort of branch out that way. If you use the winter time to basically try and start up a new thing in a sense. And then you might be doing so well the following year that you might have, your first member of staff working for you. And then you're now worried, instead of just having enough work, it's having enough work for 2 people because he needs paid. So maybe the next year you can start thinking, right, let's add roof cleaning. Let's add carpet cleaning so you can be indoors a few days a week, just stuff like that. And eventually it will be August and you're fully booked up for the next year in advance and you're rich. So yeah, well, good luck everyone. I hope you have a good winter. Don't work too hard. And yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Peace.